Well, good morning, everyone. We're continuing our daily devotion during our lockdown season, and I hope you're doing okay on this Saturday morning. And we are continuing through some Psalms. We're looking at Psalm 28 today. It's a Psalm of David as well. And David had this ability to just be painfully honest with himself and what he was feeling and with the Lord. And then he always had the ability to come back to that place of faith. And this is one of those Psalms. We don't know exactly when he wrote it. I think there's several occasions in his life that this would fit, but let's read it together. He starts out in verse 1. He says, to you I call, O Lord, my rock. Do not turn a deaf ear to me. For if you remain silent, I will be like those that have gone down to the pit. Hear my cry for mercy as I call to you for help. As I lift up my hands toward the Most High God, or the Most High place, He says, do not drag me away with the wicked, with those who do evil, who speak cordially with their neighbors, but harbor malice in their heart. That's an interesting line. Verse 4, he said, repay them for their deeds and for their evil works. Repay them for what their hands have done. Bring back upon them what they deserve, since they show no regard for the work of the Lord and what his hands have done. He will tear them down and never build them up again. Praise be to God, for he has heard my cry for mercy. The Lord is my strength and my shield. My heart trusts in him, and I am helped. My heart leaps for joy, and I will give thanks to him in song. The Lord is my strength, and the Lord is the strength of his people, a fortress of salvation for his anointed one. Save your people and bless your inheritance. Be their shepherd and carry them forever. So it's a pretty powerful psalm, and David, it's typical of a lot of them that we see that David writes. And so in this one, he starts off, and once again, he finds himself in a tough place, right? He's walking through difficulty. He's crying out to the Lord, and the problem is that there's wicked people and workers of iniquity who are causing him pain. They're doing things to him, people that are supposed to be close to him, people who are acting like his friends, that one line we talked about. But on the inside, they're working for his destruction. And so David is looking around. He's going, God, how do I deal with this situation? And how do I deal with the pain of this thing? And he starts off by expressing his frustrations because he's prayed to the Lord, but God hasn't answered. So what do we do when we have a problem of we've prayed and God hasn't answered, and we find ourselves in the same situation of stress, or we're stuck at home for over a month now? You know, we're dealing with things in our life. You're looking at your business, your job, different things, and you're trying to figure out, God, how is this going to play out in this new norm, this new reality that I find myself in? Well, David always had the ability to cry out to the Lord, and he lets the Lord know exactly what he feels. And from that, he expresses his feelings, but he doesn't get stuck there. And I think that's one of the things about David. He has the ability to be honest, to express his frustration, his fear, his doubt, his anger even. He expresses these things to the Lord, but he doesn't allow those things to hold him captive in that prison of anger, doubt, unbelief, fear. He always comes back, and he goes from here in this psalm. For the first 5 verses, he's kind of expressing his frustration. God, where are you? Why haven't you answered? I'm surrounded by people that are doing things that aren't right. It's not fair, all those things. But then in verses 6 and 7, he turns to this person who just breaks out in unabashed praise for the Lord. It says suddenly the scene changes, and David begins singing instead of sobbing, one guy wrote. And the reason he gives for that is in verse 7. He says, my heart trusts in him, and I am helped. My heart trusts in him, and I am helped. Faith in the Lord makes all of the difference. The hands of the enemy were busy doing evil, but David believed God to lift him up and to lift up his head in prayer and praise. And he does it, then God's hand went to work. I think so often when we get stuck, we kind of stay paralyzed, and we never get to the place to where we begin to declare and walk in faith. And so it keeps us from moving forward. I can do that. I can get fixated on the practical situation of the circumstances of the finances, or or the lack of whatever it is I think we have a lack of. And instead of moving forward in faith, we get stuck there. And my wife is one who always helps push me. I don't always appreciate it, but usually it's good, right? And then the last part of this, verses 8 and 9, it's the promise that God's going to bless not only David, but everybody around David gets blessed because of him. And that's one of the important things. People around you, are they blessed because of you? Or are they pulled down into a place of doubt, unbelief, fear, and frustration? And so, especially if you are the leader of a family or you're in the family, listen, what we do has an impact on the people around us, whether you realize it or not. And I just want to encourage you, not beat you up this morning, but to encourage you to have faith, begin to praise the Lord, begin to declare the works of the Lord. Remember the things that he's done for you and have faith that he'll do them again. All right. So even when we're in the middle of this crazy season, know this, that God's going to help us come through it, but you got to keep your faith in the right place. All right. Stay focused on him, trust him, believe, and be that person of hope and faith for your family. All right. Lord bless you. Have a great day. Don't forget to go to church tomorrow. All right. If you don't have a church, come to our church, because you can do it online, right? But make sure you're in church tomorrow, all right? We love you. We'll talk to you later.